What's up, everybody? Today is Friday, May 29th. I am going to share the stats with you. But before I get into these stats, I want you guys to know something because on the news, I've seen a little bit of news talking about mortgage applications are down, the housing market is weak. That couldn't be more untrue, okay? We're up 5% year over year from last year in terms of number of sales. Okay, 5% higher than last year. So there are more sales happening this year than last year. So don't believe what you see on the news. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you guys right now. And here we go. Coming soons, we got 13. New listings, 71. Price change, 91. Back on market, 8. Active under contract, 55. Pending, 32. Closed, 61. Expired 1, canceled 7, hold 7, and withdrawn 1. All right, so what we always like to do is compare what's coming on the market versus what's going off the market. And that is the major indicator as to if we are in a buyer's market or a seller's market. All right, so if we add up the coming soons and these 71 new listings and these back on market, these 8, we have 92 properties that have just hit the market, of which 8 of those are back on the market. All right, now let's take a look at what's come off the market. That would be the active under contracts. That's the sellers that have just accepted an offer from a buyer, and that buyer is now doing all of their inspections. We want to add to that the closed. So 55 plus 61 is 116. So we have 116 homes that have come off the market versus 92 that have come on. So as we've seen the last 4 weeks, inventory is shrinking. It's narrowing. And if you add to it these others expired, canceled, hold, and withdrawn, that's 132 properties that have come off. Now, it doesn't mean that we're strictly in a strong seller's market. What there are two different markets going on right now. Okay, there's the serious sellers that are priced at the bottom 10% of the market, and their condition is the top 10%. Okay, that's what's happening. There's two sellers markets, and then there's a bunch of sellers that have a pie in the sky number out there, and they're trying to get, a way higher price than the buyers are willing to pay. The market determines the value of the home. All right, let's take a look at interest rates. The 30-year fix is at 6.59. That's down just a tiny bit from last week. The 15-year fix is at 6.11. The 30-year jumbo is at 6.70. The 7 and 6 SOFR arm is at 6.07. The 30-year FHA is at 6.12, and the 30-year VA is at 6.14. All right, so there you have it, folks. The stats are in. All right, sales are up 5% year over year. That's nationally. Locally, it's probably very similar. Um, so we have great opportunities out there. There's a lot of opportunities out there for buyers, sellers. Buyers are still, even with the war, even with 6.5% interest rates, buyers are still out there looking for homes. So if you've been on the fence, time to get your property listed. Give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email. I'd love to talk with you guys about your buying or your selling or your investing plans for 2026. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Josh Brenner with Compass right here in Westlake Village, California. And don't forget to get some exercise today, everybody. Have a great one. Take care. Bye bye.